I gotta tell you, I think I drank my own body weight last night in red wine and Prosecco. I went to a wedding. Hi, everybody. It's another week. This is the Daily Show on Men's Radio Station. Yeah, I'm what's left of Russ Kane. When I say what's left, I'm not kidding today. Anyway, it was a fabulous wedding. So congratulations to Zoe and David. It was great. I've known Zoe since before she was born or as a little tiny baby. So I think she took time off from doing her O-levels to get married. Anyway, it was at the Victoria and Albert Museum. It was marvellous. I haven't been to the V&A in like forever. Such a gorgeous setting. The weather was kind for once in London, which is unbelievable. It wasn't as good as I thought. I mean, we had to go in the side entrance. Not even the main entrance. I parked at the side entrance. That's my exercise for a week. It was absolutely fantastic. People there that I haven't seen in ages and ages and ages, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But as soon as the dancing started, I left because I don't want to dance by myself. I mean, even that's sad, even for me. Although I did have a nice dance with Lawrence Lewis. Interior designer to the stars. Anyway, there we are. Right, here we go. We're rocking and a rolling. We got a heck of a show lined up for you today. Let's just go and say hello to some people. Barry J. Allen, The Flash. Good afternoon, Mr. Kane. Good afternoon to you. Hi, Russ. I'm still here. Yes, sweetheart. I know you are. We've been much thinking of you. Chrissy Richards, as you know, lost her son last week under horrendous circumstances, which, as it's a Monday, I don't want to tell everybody, but regulars to the show all over the world will know what happened. It was ghastly. Chrissy, I am so sorry. We are here. And on Wednesday, before I bring on everybody else on the show, Wednesday, thanks to the fabulous Leslie Demesa, we have a grief expert. A grief counseling expert on Wednesday. So Chrissy, please tune in on Wednesday. It's a huge subject and it's bound to be pretty heavy, but there we go. Speaking of lovely Demesa,
good morning.
Good morning. I nearly invited you last night to the
Do you know, I would have come.
Would you?
Of course I would. Darling, I know Lawrence Lewis as well. I can't believe when I heard you say his name, I thought,
I've known Lawrence for like 35 years.
I've known him less.
When I moved, have you known him a long time?
Less time than you. But I knew him.
You're eating on a radio show.
I'm so sorry. It's breakfast.
You're bloody unprofessional. I've got a big top star coming on in a minute, and you're eating.
I've stopped. I knew Lawrence.
She's going to walk. She's going to go. Well, she's drinking now. I don't care now. She's having a swig. Probably wine, either that or meths. I think it's meth.
If I were her now, I'd say, do you know what? I'm not coming on if you're.
She's desperate to come on. She's gagging to come on. She wants to come on this show. She wants to flog her books. Let's go back to Spain. He goes, buenos días, señor Ken. Do you know the story of this guy? Right? His mum and dad, Michael and Anita, well, my mum and dad's best friends, right? I hadn't seen Michael. The last time I saw him, he was maybe 13, if that. Right, he goes to see his sister Stacy for a week in Spain. He's never bothered to come back. He's literally never bothered to come back. He's been out there, must be a year plus. Right, Lawrence Lewis.
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
Stop it. I know Lawrence through HIV work that we've both done. We've both done work on HIV and sexual health.
He's a lovely man.
He's a super fellow. So that's how I know him. And I'm guessing my friend Jane was at the wedding as well. But
Jane who? Jane who?
Jane Garina.
God knows. I had all these people coming up to me yesterday going, hi, you won't remember me. And I got, because of the pills I'm on, right, I have no memory about anything. I'm like a freaking goldfish, right? And I go, no. Oh, we had dinner, did we? Nobody knows. I'm the faintest bloody idea.
You know what you just said about the pills and memory? Yeah. I had a conversation this morning with a colleague I used to work with, and the two of us could not think of names that we needed, but we understood each other sufficiently to have the conversation.
No, I remember you. You're my cousin, you idiot. Of course I remember. Oh,
and no one could forget Francine.
Who could forget Fran and her endless tea, biscuits and chocolate? Jesus Christ. Now, look, here's the thing. I don't know how we can go from grief counselling to my cousin's biscuit collection. Jeez. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, this is serious. Just for a sec. I had to take statins, right, to reduce cholesterol. And I said to the doctor, "Well, I don't really want to take any statins." He said, "Well, don't have them, but have a heart attack." He had
Yeah.
such bedside manner. I said, "Well, I don't want a heart attack." He said, "Well, then take the statins." He's got such a way with him. What can I say? Jesus.
Darling,
Anyway.
you get to a certain age, everybody's on statins.
Yeah, I've been on them for years. And if you look at the very, very, very small print, the really small print, it will affect your memory.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's not. Because it used to drive my partner mad, and she'd go, "Why can't you remember?" I said, "I can't. I don't know what the hell's going on with me." I'm going, "Should we bring on our special guest before she
I
walks
think we
on?
should.
She might storm off. She looks like the type that could just flaunt." No, she's shaking her head. Hello, Samantha.
Hi, Ross.
How
Hello.
are you?
Morning, Samantha.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I think what you've just said about the statins is just, it actually makes me understand my husband a little bit more now.
No, it's a serious old thing, because the moment I started taking these statins, I thought, "What the bloody hell's going on here?"
Oh
And
my-
all sorts of stupid. I mean, ask me the lyrics of any song from any year. I could sing it perfect. Well, I can't sing, but I can give you the lyrics, right? Ask me where it was or who we had dinner with, or I can't remember anything like that. If I don't write it down, it won't get done. If I don't have my daily list, it will not get done. Samantha, tell me, this is the most important question. Serious. Do you ever walk into a room and go, "Why the hell did I come in here? What am I in here for?"
I to say all the time I do that.
Every bloody day.
Yeah.
Every day. I was walking around the other day going, "Where the hell are my glasses? I need my reading glasses. I don't wear glasses, but I wear reading glasses. Where am I? Where are they?" I looked down. I've been holding them. God, so I've been walking around my home. I put them down somewhere, and they're here. Oh, Jesus Christ, in my hand. Now, tell us all about yourself, you famous person.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm Samantha Lee Howe. I'm a writer, and I'm a novelist and screenwriter. And I've just had my very first film made based on Stranger in Our Beds. So
we hate you now.
that kind of thing.
You. I'm not jealous. I'm not a jealous person. So I always fascinated because, and I keep saying this, and I do believe it, that art, and I'm putting books, movies, TVs, music, is so key to our mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
It really is. And people who just say, "Oh, you're an actor," or "Well, go and train and stack shelves and test."
Yeah.
No, that's what you do. You're a dancer. You've trained for years as a dancer. Be a dancer. So what was your, I'm not going to use the word journey because it makes me sound like Sharon Bloomin' Osbourne. What was your trajectory? There we are. Let's have a grown-up word.
Well, I was from 11 years old. I read the novel The Collector by John Fowles, and it
Wow.
just, and it was the first adult novel that I'd read, and I knew at the point I wanted to be a writer. I didn't know what I wanted to write, but I knew I wanted to be a writer. So in my household, my mother was a very eclectic reader, so she had books of all sorts. There was stacks of historical romances. There was Stephen King. There was Dean Koontz, and I basically everything I could get my hands on, and started to do, dabble. And I think what I was initially doing was writing a lot of fan fiction, but we didn't have that term for it back then.
Explain that a little bit.
Well, I used to write a lot of Dracula stories because I was really into Lee movies.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So I used to write a lot of those, and when I read other books, they inspired me to write stories of similar vein. And I think it's where you learn your craft. But I then, left school at 16. I didn't have any qualifications at all. And that was partly because I was living in a household that, although my mother was great, my father was a bit of a drunk, and he, not a very good man, really. And so we had a very sort of unsettled home life, to say the least. And so education wasn't, the most important thing to me at that point, even though I was still writing and I had the passion for writing. And it was more of a surviving was more important, if you know what I mean. So I went straight to ITS job, doing secretarial and bookkeeping work. But all the time I always had a little journal with me. So in my breaks, I'd be scribbling my little writing.
Were you writing ideas, characterizations, plot lines? What are you doing? Observations?
Tons and tons of short stories. I used to like writing as well. And then, you know, just anything really, whatever I felt like writing, I'd write it. So, you know, it just came out. But it was all, I think it was all a practice run, if you know what I mean, for when I wrote my first full novel, which was I went to university. My little girl was, by then she was 4 years old. So I
Hang on, you went to uni, or you were visiting?
School student.
Oh, okay.
And what actually happened was I got into that because I'd sold some poetry and some short stories by then, after attending an adult education, you know, part-time creative writing course. And the teacher there said to me, you're too good for this. You need to do a degree. And I was like, a degree? No way. I'm not clever enough, you know. And she recommended me to Bolton University, and I went for an interview. And they just said, you're exactly what we're looking for. Because, you know, as a mature student, you bring an awful lot of life experience.
Oh, thank you.
It's amazing.
No, but you see, Samantha, this is a thing that Leslie and I talk about a lot, that we get kicked to the curb because you're not on Love Island and you're not 24 or 22. So therefore, you have no value to this planet whatsoever. And it's complete nonsense.
I mean,
it's shocking
to us, all the life experiences we've had. You know, in jobs, I was a hairdresser, I was a kissogram girl.
Hello. Whoa. You had me at kissogram girl. A very good mutual friend of Leslie's and I, called Cara Noble, who we worked with for many years, who lives now has lived for 25 years or something in Los Angeles. She was one of the first do you remember, Leslie? She had the first kissogram, Songbirds it was.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Wow.
And do you know who one of her first kissogram boys
remember
was? Do you know who he was? You'll never guess. Julian Clary.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's true. No one knew him.
Yeah.
He was a kissogram boy. Julian Clary back in the day. It's no weird, huh? That was great. I've forgotten all those kissograms. Did you dress up? I'm not asking too many questions.
Can I ask you, when you were writing?
No, we're getting to the good bit now. She was a kissogram girl. I want to know what she went dressed as. This is the good bit.
Well, for everything, the balloons, the policewoman, the lot. Really. I did sing a bit, so I used to sing a bit as well.
I don't care about that bit. I'm not interested about that bit. It's just the outfits. To be really honest with you. Right, Leslie. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Leslie.
What I was going to say, Samantha, you said that home life with your dad wasn't that happy. Were this kind of escapism for you, a safer world to go into, maybe?
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, looking back on it now, I know that is exactly what I was doing. I used to make stories up in my head all day long. I'd be telling myself stories, reenacting scenarios, reenacting dialogue with people. And I was doing that from a very, very young age. I was just in my own little world, you know, in many ways. And it was a way to escape, was reading and writing. And I still find it incredibly cathartic writing now. It's a really important part of my mental health, to be honest with you, is to, you know, to put down, you know, to create characters and put them in scenarios and reenact, exercise some of your demons even in there. And
totally. I could not agree with you more. And it's interesting. I live in my own head the whole time. And so what you're saying, I don't make light of at all. You know, the scenarios and scenes and other things, and it keeps me kind of, well, vaguely sane. I don't say completely sane.
Thing. I think we all do that. I mean, it's not like listening to voices in your head or anything as silly as that. It is literally just working things out. I always think, I think that's what makes me a writer, because I work out, like, you know, I don't know if either of you guys play chess, but when I'm writing, I see it as a chess game. I think to myself, if I move my pawns here, this, that, and the other, these characters are going to move, and that's going to affect how the scene turns out. And so to me, I often think, well, if I move this character over there and make them do that, I'm not necessarily sure myself where the plot's going to go, and therefore it's not going to be quite as predictable. So I often write myself into a corner like that. But I do see it as you know, I can almost anticipate the moves. And if if I can anticipate them too easily, then I'm going, oh no, so will the reader. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something else.
It's interesting. We had Joanne Harris on the show. I'm a big fan
Oh
of.
yeah.
And we had Janice Hallett, who is killing it out there at the moment.
Oh wow.
Excuse me. And I asked, are you amazed when you see the words appear on the screen? Because I always think, where the hell did that come from? I don't even remember writing that.
Yes.
It's like magic. Do you feel like that, or is it all much more structured for you?
No, I think it is very much like that. When it's really flowing, I'm just literally typing all day, 5,000 words a day.
Jesus, what?
I type really fast, and it's just thought straight.
Let me stop you. For everybody watching and listening around the world, most authors, a lot of authors say, if I did 200 words and they were any good, it's been a good day. 500 words isn't achieved. 5,000 words is ferocious. That is incredible.
For me, it's really important to get the story out of my head. And when it's flowing, I just can't stop. And I think the most important thing is getting the whole thing down. And then it's work. I'll work on it and I'll edit it. I do sort of edit forward every day and build up. I'll go back over what I've done the day before, and then I move forward, and then I go back a little bit, move forward. And then, but you can drive yourself mad doing that. So it's better just to write.
I never edit.
No, you just better finish it.
I never edit. I never revise. And I've taught myself that because I was an advertising copywriter and scriptwriter my whole life. So I was always writing to deadlines, and I had to make my first effort the best effort, and I never revise stuff. And that's not arrogance. I just never did. Because I can't stand it doing it as well. I hate it.
I think sometimes you're just pushing words around. You're not actually changing how you've said it. With me, I just think I plot a lot in my head, to be fair. So I'll have been thinking an awful lot about what I'm going to write before I write it. So it will come out because it's ready, you know.
So tell us about this book, which is your big breakthrough book, now being made into a film.
Yes. It's called The Stranger in Our Bed, and
say it again, because your line is breaking up a little bit. So just say it again.
It's called The Stranger in Our Bed.
Stranger in Our Bed.
And it is based on a true story that my friend of mine, you may know her, Aisha Bruff. She used to be Lift Off with Aisha.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah, I do remember. I don't know her personally, but I remember the name. Yes.
And Aisha was telling me a story once about a friend of hers who was basically catfished, but she didn't realize at the time, fell in love with this guy, and he persuaded her to leave her husband. And when she went to meet him, he just didn't show. And when she started to call him, using the numbers she'd used at the time, it didn't. So it was. I took that story and said, well, actually, I know what happened to this guy, and I'm going to take that and twist it and create a completely new.
What kind of idiot leaves a husband for someone you've never met? I mean, how stupid do you have to be?
I think she had a year-long affair with him.
But she never met him.
No, she had an affair with him.
Oh, she had met this person.
Yes, she actually physically met him, and that's when the affair started. And then she just sort of was led in, completely catfished by him.
So what was his plot? What was his big plan here?
I don't know. It was mean. It was mean. I just don't understand it myself. But actually, when I was told, I mentioned it to my beauty therapist, and she said, oh my goodness, this has happened to so many of my clients, but online relationships. Then they go and meet the guy, then there's the affair starts, and then suddenly they get persuaded to leave and the guy vanishes.
Looking from the mental health point of view, I always try to corral things back to what's the deal with that? What are you getting, Leslie? Can you? I'm drowning here. I don't understand this at all. What's the point?
I could in another show talk about something similar that happened to me, but it wasn't catfishing. But this sort of the Walter Mitty characters who do certainly have two different lives. I wasn't the Walter Mitty in mine. So they present as complete and utterly, in inverted commas, normal. committed to you, the whole bit. When mine happened, I remember my mother saying, my God, I'd never have thought it of him. I wouldn't have thought he could have, had two parallel lives. It happens much more than we think, but so few people are prepared to talk. Embarrassing. You feel cuckolded, to use an old-fashioned word.
We should do a special on that.
Yeah.
We should do a special on that, definitely.
It does.
It's weird, isn't it?
Really does. And I think it's because they find people who are particularly vulnerable, who are out there looking for love quite innocently. They're led in by the conversation. They're put on a pedestal by this person, and they are the best thing in the world. And it's I don't understand what they gain from it. Maybe they want to believe this life they've created for themselves. I suspect so, but they're usually narcissists. They're, controlling sort of personalities, not the kind of people you really want to be with anyway in the end. But, it is a very real, and it could be anyone. It could be a man catfished by a woman. It could be anybody could fall for this. It's
the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing, isn't it? Strange. So these numpties leave their husbands, and then the guy, what, he disappears, or he doesn't show up, or he.
One that I heard about, he pretended to be an Irish laird, and he had a castle, and he was going to take the castle and everything. They always met. Though, is it a red flag? I mean, it is a red flag, but
Do you think? I am never, ever failed to be amazed by the incredible stupidity of Jesus.
I just think that they're really vulnerable, and I think that's the problem. I think they just so desperately want to be seen, to be cared for.
I get that. Paul Brazil is saying the Tinder swindler. Oh my God! Have you presumably you saw that, Leslie? You saw that, the Tinder swindler? We don't know. We'll never know. Your communication is not great.
I got quite cross. I
was furious with it. Furious for days afterwards.
Is it not? Oh.
No, it's very choppy.
Yeah,
very choppy. It's the internet today.
I was cross with the women.
Idiots!
I have
absolute idiots.
To be fair, I need to watch that.
Oh, you've not seen Samantha? You have to see this thing. And it was recommended by Chantal Rickards, who does all our TV and film, ex-head of BAFTA Los Angeles. Believe me, she's a wonderful woman. And she recommended it, so I watched it, along with all our listeners and viewers. I was in a fury for days. I thought, well, I'm actually not involved. Am I getting upset for nothing to do with me? It was unbelievable what he did. The arrogance and the dumbness of these quite sophisticated women. They're just dumb as hell.
It's amazing what happens when you think you're in love. It's sad, really.
He was so convincing. What a creep! What a creep!
Yeah. They usually are, these people. It's horrifying, really.
The answer to your question, Lee Durnford, is I'm drinking my Randy Jackson from California health thing, which I'm taking every day now, because apparently it's a miracle. And God knows I need it today. Straight after this, I got to do GB News. It's going to be a nightmare. It won't be like, it's going to be a complete nightmare. It ain't going to be like this. Right. So you've got your book, and then, and now it's going to be made into a movie?
Yes. What actually happened was it came out right in the middle of lockdown, the book, and I thought, this is it. I've had it now. It can't do the book tours I was going to do. I couldn't do anything. I was just devastated. Couldn't have the launch I was planning to have. And the weird thing is, it just soared, and it became an international immediate success, and it made the USA Today bestseller list within the first week of it going live, which was just amazing.
Wow. And you weren't expecting, and Sam, you weren't expecting anything like that?
No, you could dream. You only
we dream, of course we do. Yeah.
just was amazed. I was totally amazed, and the reviews were incredible. Everyone was loving it. And I was so insecure about the book because it was the first time I'd written a straightforward thriller before. I'd done sort of horror and fantasy before that. And so it was kind of, you know, this is me being, you know, as believable and as straight and as, you know, as could be in terms of writing a mainstream thriller. And it was just incredible, really. The response, just everybody loved it. And then I got Terry Dwyer, who you may know from Hollyoaks fame and Loose Women, started her own production company called Buffalo Dragon. And Terry contacted me and said, I really love the book.
Yeah. Oh, this is a dream. This is a dream come true. Oh.
And so I said to her, yes, they are available. Let's have a talk. So we had a talk on the phone, and I said to her, well, I could write the screenplay for you because I have got a degree in screenwriting and I want to do it. And she said to me, yes, but I want to make it this year. And by then, this was about July, August.
Jesus.
And she said, I want to make it this year. So I'd need a screenplay quickly. I said, well, yeah, I could get you one within. She said, can you do it in a month? And I said, yes. So
Shut up.
I delivered it to draft.
A month. You delivered the screenplay in a month.
So 2 weeks.
This woman, I'm going to blow. I'm going to big you up here, right? Unless you've ever tried to write a book or write a screenplay, you have no idea. This is like, you're like I don't know. This is something you're like the Max Verstappen of writers here. I mean, you are unbelievable.
I do think it was incredible the way things fell in the right way for me as well, which makes it amazing. But they did.
This is in from Manhattan, Elizabeth Green saying, "Good for you." Well, thanks.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
so then,
wow.
In the November of 2020, we filmed it during lockdown.
With Samantha. That was fun.
It was great. Emily Berrington, Ben Lloyd Hughes, Joseph Marcel, Nina Wardy is in it as well. All fantastic actors.
Was there no role for a sort of rather louche, middle-aged, world weary? Obviously not. No, okay, moving on. If you could write that into the script next time, I'd be ever so grateful. This is from Lee Durnford, who is a very nice man. I know that feeling. Hence my head. I'm in bed with C19. Well, that's legal. That's all right. As long as it's not C15, you're okay. It finally got me on a flight back from Mallorca. Oh, you see, I won't fly. Took my 16-year-old for a post-GCE holiday. Why on earth are they allowing people to fly in what is essentially a test tube without masks? I wore mine except when eating. Crazy. Yeah, with you, 100%.
Crazy.
And would you read this one out? Leslie, are you on your phone or laptop? This is like two-way family favorites from 1955. Sam, you can read this out. Be our guest reader, because the communication with Leslie, because she's in Stanmore, in another time zone.
Oh dear.
This is from Paul Brazil. My friends, my horrible.
No, Leslie, you're going to have to reboot, sweetheart. I'm going to take you off for a second. Can you reboot? Because it's so bad, it's not doable. So reboot, darling. I'll see you in a sec. Paul D. Brazil says, my friend's mother had a horrible divorce and met a bloke on Tinder who wanted to meet her. Oh, Jesus Christ, at a petrol station.
Oh, no.
Can you read the rest of it? Because it's cracked me up.
Out of town midnight. Luckily. Oh my God.
Oh, how romantic is that? I really love you. Let's meet at the Texaco petrol station. It's in the middle of Oh My Godsville. Let's see if lovely Demisa's back with us now. Let's see if she's back. How's that? You back with us?
Well, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're completely out of sync, which is very weird, but there we go. Doesn't matter. We're just happy to have you. Did you see this?
Life.
Look at this. I've got to read this thing again. I'm going to read it out. I'll tell you why, Samantha. We go out on Deluxe Radio. There's 70,000 people listening on Deluxe Radio, but they can only hear us. They can't see us. So actually, I'm going to let Leslie read this. Could you read this out, Lally? Go on, Lally.
Yep.
Please read it.
This is Paul Brazil. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. It's okay. Go on.
Okay, my friends. Okay. My friends had a horrible divorce and met a bloke on Tinder who wanted to meet her at a petrol station out of town at midnight. Luckily, her daughter found out about it. God, that is ludicrous. I mean,
If my cousin
why would
Francine
you?
is watching,
Surely the mother wasn't.
Jesus Christ, what an idiot!
I can't believe the woman.
You'll recognize me. I'll have a knife in my hand and I'll be wearing a balaclava.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
What is the matter with people? They're just bonkers.
It's
They're
really,
completely
really.
bonkers. Fran, I got to say to my cousin, do we know a mutual relative who go, well, it seemed completely normal to me. we have another cousin, Fran, and she gets in to these terrible scrapes. And when she phones me, she's phoning me for sympathy, and I'm completely cracked up because it's just like you're like got a brain like a planet. How do you get into these situations? They're terrible. They do make me. Oh God, they make me laugh. Christ. So when's is the film out or it's coming out? What's the deal? I've lost the plot.
The film actually aired on Showtime on Friday in
Oh,
America.
good. Okay.
And it already getting great reviews online from fans who've seen it. They think it was great. And it's going to be in general release in the US from the 23rd of August on DVD, etc. as well, and all streaming services, and in the UK on the 5th of September. But it's also
what's it going to be on? What was it? No, but Sam, what's it going to be like on the UK? What platform is it going to be on?
I don't know yet. I've just been told it's general release on the 5th of September, so it might be out somewhere else sooner. I just haven't been told yet. They're either still signing on the dotted line, or the press release.
How are you feeling about this? When you see all that, you pinch yourself and you say there must be another Samantha Lee Howe somewhere. I'd love to meet her. She must be great. I'm
just shocked. I am shocked. But I've been writing professionally since 2007, and it does almost. It's the strangest thing. You always say it takes 12 years to become an overnight success in publishing. I've dragged on too long.
Well, that's why I was so impressed with Janice Hallett. She'd never written.
That's amazing.
A book, came out, went to like #1, and straight out the gate. And she only wrote it with no expectations. Then she wrote, and I thought, well, I wonder if this is a flash in the pan. I said that to her, by the way. I'm not being. And then she came out with book #2. Bang!
Brilliant.
It's the same with a fantastic. You remember Tony Robinson, Blackadder? He played Baldrick.
Yeah.
And he does Time Team, which I'd never seen in my life, but he does some very interesting sort of things about the Thames and Underground. Interesting. He's a good presenter. I wrote for him once, and he's got a daughter called Laura Shepherd Robinson. Again, never. Is that weird? Up comes Janice Hallett on my Twitter feed. As I just said that. Oh God, that's a bit spooky, isn't it? And Laura Shepherd Robinson had never written her first book. I saw some reviews. I thought, oh, look, absolutely ferociously good. Never written before. Did it again with the second book. Her third book's just gone to the editor. I saw a tweet this morning. Do you find the writing community friendly?
The crime writing community is incredibly friendly.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, and certainly all of the crime writers themselves are usually supportive of each other. Not so much in the horror industry and the fantasy.
Are they not?
No.
That's because they only come out at night. What? I don't know. And drink blood.
I think it's because it's such a niche market. They all feel a little bit like they've got to compete with each other too much. And for me, it's not my thing. I don't care what somebody else is doing. Good luck.
I've got to jump in. I got to jump in, Sam. We'll come back to this. Look at this. This is from Paul Claridge. Leslie, would you like to read that out? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll never get through it.
A friend of mine was looking for dates on Tinder a few years ago. She quit the site after one particularly dodgy bloke sent her a photo of him dressed in combat gear and a skull mask while holding a huge hunting knives across his chest. Needless to say, his profile was sent to the police.
Oh, my word.
It's funny. I only got guys' dogs when I did things. People must be raving mad. And maybe I shouldn't say that. I could get cancelled.
Honestly, Francine, I don't see why
It's
went wrong
scary
with
what
no
people
clue.
think's acceptable. No clues at all. No. The skull mask was not a giveaway.
The skull
at
mask,
all.
combat gear, and knives. Let's meet at
Yeah.
the Wolsey, shall we? I hear they do a particularly delightful pate.
Oh, no.
I think he was probably an accountant. He was probably an accountant and just trying
He
to
was an accountant.
glamorize his
Yeah, he was,
life.
probably, he was either an accountant or a proctologist. Either or, I don't want him near me.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my God!
Oh,
People.
Yeah,
I'm just
proctologist
completely-
better.
Probably a proctologist. Now, Elizabeth Green's sitting watching this in Manhattan right now. Oh my God, o'clock in the morning. What did you say that your film was out on the platforms over there? Because she's obviously in Manhattan. She can watch it.
It's on Showtime at the moment, Elizabeth, and they have got scheduled times, but it's also on demand, so you can watch it at any time if you've got Showtime.
Okay, cool. All right, well done.
Sam,
Very exciting.
Have they changed the name of it for America?
No, it's still
Have they
called.
changed the title for America? Stranger in Our Bed.
No, that is the title of the book. The film's been called that. Yep, it stayed the same all the way through.
The characters that they've got, sorry, let's start again. The actors that they've got to portray the characters that came out of your head. Are you happy with that? Is that sort of how you saw it?
Oh, it's amazing, actually. Terry did run by me whenever she was interested in an actor. She'd show me their profiles. And when they showed me Emily to play Charlotte, and particularly Samantha Bond to play Isadora, I was like, oh my God, yeah, perfect. And Ben Lloyd Hughes is actually Emily Barrington's husband. He's now getting a great deal of success he's in a series called Sanditon, and he's filming The Crown, I believe, at the moment as well.
Huh.
So he's really soaring at the moment, but he's got a massive fan base. But he's actually Emily's real life husband, and so that did help an awful lot with the intimacy scenes because of COVID at the time, because we were writing them.
Yes, I see what you're saying there. See,
and
I could never film an intimate scene. I would die. I couldn't. It wouldn't matter what you offered me. I absolutely couldn't do it.
Really, you couldn't?
No, really. I know I've shattered your dreams there, Sam. But no, the answer is no. I just couldn't do it. It's funny. One of my best pals is a very senior film producer, and he and I always laugh. We always think that we could both act. And then the moment you hear action, we become like two oak trees. It's like, do something normal. Just have a drink. Okay, and action.
You go. Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm just weird. I'm absolute rubbish at it.
My husband cameo in the film, actually. So we did have our own little debut there as well.
You did a bit of an Alfred Hitchcock and just wandered on.
Yes.
What, with like bird on your shoulder, just casually walking through a cafe or something?
I was actually in a cafe right behind Samantha Bond. So I'm in shock.
Was that a good guess? Was that a good guess? I just made that up. Paul Brazil is saying the guy who sent the picture in the combat gear, bet he was in the Territorial Army. I absolutely can't get over it. Now, here's the thing something we were talking about just a second ago. In the music industry, the worst industry in the world, by the way, everybody is vile, and the jealousy, and everyone's horrible and stabs everybody in the back. Acting is, I want that job. That could have been me. As they always say, the best thing about acting was it how many actors does it take to change a light bulb? 12. One to go up the ladder, and the other 11 are saying, that should have been me up there. And that really sums up acting for you. But the writing community is incredibly welcoming, friendly, supportive, extraordinary.
Yes.
I'm stunned by it, and I've only done 3. What have I done? 2 books. The
reason that Ross is because generally you can't judge your success by somebody else's success or lack of success, or your lack of success by someone else's huge success. I see it this way, that I'm not in competition with other writers. If somebody else is writing crime or thrillers or domestic noir like I am, then it's very likely that their readers will pick up my book as well. So in a way, we're all...
Okay. I never thought of that.
Yeah, there's
I
no...
never thought of that. That's a very, very interesting. Yeah, I get that. I get that now. That's smart. That's smart. Now, how do you know Stephen Smith, the world's busiest man?
Stephen. I met him through a friend of mine called Pam Sharrock.
Okay.
Stephen, we just hit it off immediately, became really good friends.
Nice man. Nice man. He's been on the show. He's a nice guy.
He's a wonderful person. He really...
He loves you. God, blimey, hell, I've never seen so many posts about a guest ever in my life. And we've had some pretty heavy duty guests on. And like, blimey, Stephen, he's up there, fella. He's up. It's not the second coming. Take it easy.
Oh, bless him. You know,
he went the extra mile for you. I tell you that. He's a nice guy. Bit too handsome. Gets on my nerves. A bit too handsome.
Very, very handsome.
Yeah. The girls, don't get excited.
No.
It won't. Let me just say, Leslie, it won't work out. I'll leave it there. You could have a pleasant evening.
Really quickly.
You'll have a pleasant evening, but it'll end with a handshake, and he'll go his separate way. I'm just going to leave it there. But he is very handsome. That's it. So, Sam, what's next in the pipeline for you?
Well, I've currently got 2 more books that my agent's got hold of at the moment.
Bloody hell.
And I'm writing another one. So
that'll be finished this afternoon, knowing you, won't it?
No, this one slow going. I've been messing with this one an awful lot. So I will get there.
Do you take revenge on people in real life you don't like in your books? I kill them.
I do.
I kill them in a really gruesome way. People I don't like, they die in my books.
Necessarily know it's that they'll have a different name, but I know.
Of course, they have a slightly different name.
Yes, I killed somebody recently who was really driving me mad.
Good.
I had her push down some stairs because she was wearing ridiculously high heels, so it served her right.
It's her own fault. I got no sympathy. Paul D. Brazil says, I think crime writers are so supportive because they're grown-ups and they usually lived real lives. So that's an interesting point.
That's a good point.
I never know if we're grown up or not. Listen, Sam, it's been a joy, an absolute joy. Thank you. If people want to know more about you, go and plug all your various addresses and all that sort of stuff. Please do.
Twitter is Samantha Lee Howe. I'm on Instagram, Samantha Lee Howe. My website is www.samanthaleehowe.co.uk.
Right.
And yes, look me up. And thank you so much from us. What a wonderful way to spend the afternoon already. I've really enjoyed it.
Then Leslie and I's work is done. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been looking forward to this a lot. And thank you, by the way, in all seriousness. A lot of our guests don't do this, despite the fact that I beg and plead and wheedle. But thank you for plugging the show and plugging Men's Radio Station, because it's the only way that we can get out there. You know, we're self-funded. It's a CIC company, and you know, we're trying to play with the big boys, and it's tough, but we're not going anywhere. That's for sure.
Of course,
bless you. Thank you so much, and well done. Many congratulations. Well done. Fantastic. Bye. Bye. What a nice woman. Wasn't that nice? Did you enjoy? Are you sitting outside?
Lovely lady. And she had purple hair.
And what?
Did you notice that her hair was purple hair underneath? Purple.
Was it? I couldn't see that. I'll be honest with you. The way I'm feeling today, I can't see that much. Dress, but... Oh, I just thought it was.
Oh, darling.
I thought it was kind
I'm
of
so
blonde.
Sorry. And yet,
I just thought it was.
Blonde on top, purple underneath. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She was lovely.
That might work for you. That would be good.
She was lovely.
What would you look like with long hair, do you think?
Yeah,
it might work.
I've done it on one of those Instagram filters, and it's okay. But I do think I'm going to say this about myself now. I do think I'm too old for long hair now. I think there's something about an older woman with long hair that isn't quite right. Shoulder length, maybe a bob, but it never grows, Russ. My hair does not grow long.
Does it not? Okay.
No.
I'm making a note.
I have no idea why.
I'm making a note on the debit side of our relationship with that.
Well, I'm making a note that you could have asked me to a wedding and bloody well didn't. And again,
Well,
I was at the theatre yesterday afternoon.
I tell you why I didn't ask you, because I would have had to spend several hours saying, no, we're just friends. And, after a while, I'd have got bored and say, yes, actually, she is my psychosexual therapist. I would have just changed it to embarrass you, basically. That would have worked, and everyone would have believed me.
Yep.
Or I would have just said, well,
absolutely.
I phoned the agency at the last minute, and, what the hell? You never know what
this is what they had left.
This is what was left on a Sunday evening. I should have given them more notice. I was expecting Olga from Yugoslavia, but she clearly was busy. Anyway, so that was that. And I wasn't sure if my partner was going to be well enough to attend. Turned out she was absolutely not. Because 6 people in the office, it's a small office, have COVID. 6 out of 15 have COVID. Yeah, I'm serious. So I said, you're not coming anywhere near me. Thank you. Not that I'm self-centered and selfish, but I don't want COVID again. Thanks. Once was, that's adequate for a lifetime. This COVID stuff, and I'm switching subjects, but it's important because we're here for mental health and well-being and everything else. And in that comes health. This government, and don't start shouting and screaming at me. There is no way they can do another lockdown, because everyone will say, Boris, F off, party boy, we're not having another lockdown. Thank you. So that's never going to happen. The numbers are going through the roof in the UK, through the roof. So while everyone's cavorting and having a wonderful time, the COVID numbers are diabolical, absolutely rampant. So please be careful,
Russ,
please.
It's not just in the UK. My neighbor, her daughter lives in Israel. It's up in Israel, and yet they were the first with the vaccine. So it's kind of everywhere. I think I remember in the beginning saying this is something we are going to have to learn to live with.
Totally. And totally. It's here forever.
Fewer and fewer people wearing masks. I was at the theatre again yesterday afternoon. No one in the theatre was masked. At time, no masks in the theatre. So
this worries. This
and
worries
I don't
me
think we'll get people back in masks.
No, you won't. It's not going to happen. But
No.
One of my very good friends is a coroner at a senior level, and we chat and communicate all the time. And she's saying at least the government, and coroner, she's not she's not a hairdresser. This is serious stuff. Not that hairdressers aren't important. And she said at least the government should ask masks for people to wear masks. But it's too late now. The genie's out of the bottle. I don't think people are going to go back to it. And also,
no,
if I wear a mask, I don't care. You can look at me, you can stare, you can make some snippy little comment. I don't give a monkeys, because I normally double mask. And if you don't like it, it says more about you than it does about me. And if I want to do it, it's not affecting you. It's not affecting you. I'm not impinging on your life if I decide to wear a mask. So shut up about it, really. But we're not going to go back to it. I think that ship has sailed. It's worrying. And what is
100%.
also worrying, well, I'll tell you what else, Lely, that is worrying, is that this virus, as viruses do, is mutating. Now, do you remember they said, oh, it'll be better in the summer because it doesn't like, it's like Dracula, it doesn't like sunlight or something. Well, the figures are rampant, which means that this virus has thought to itself, well, sod that, I'm not hanging around for winter. Hey, it's summer. I'm going to give them a good pasting, which then makes you think, what the hell's it going to be like in winter when everyone's got a cough and a cold?
I think what we need to take in, though, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but we have had a full school term. Now it's nearly summer holidays, and it could be that acts as a bit of a fire break. Is that what they call it? I don't know. It could be that
break. Why?
It starts going down again.
But why?
Pardon?
I don't understand. I'm not
Well,
following the logic.
because
Go on.
I mean, you know, I tutor, so I've had kids coming to me regularly for tuition all this term. Only some of them are off some weeks because there's COVID and they've got COVID and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, really good spread without necessarily having COVID themselves. So it could be that the fire break will be when they're not. I don't know, because
But
you know,
look, you've got
whilst I might be very good at the sex and drugs, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, I mean, you got Wimbledon, you've got Glastonbury. These are all petri dishes, no pun intended, for if it's going to breed, it's going to breed in Glastonbury. Geez. And, you know, then you've got 200,000 people from Glastonbury going all over the UK. Boom. And they shouldn't stop these things. There's no point. There's no point anymore in trying to stop these things. As you say, and we said it on the show as well, this is not something that's going to come and go. This is it. This is like the flu is never going away. Catching a cold is never going to go away. We'll have to learn to live with it. They'll develop more drugs and pharmaceuticals to cope. But this is it. This is the new reality. That's what it is. No point pretending otherwise, is there? Absolutely not. What did you go to see? Or should we save this for Friday? Should we save it for Friday? If you're available.
No. I can't remember if I'm available. I went to see Cock, darling. Of course I went to see Cock. I didn't see it in the West End. I saw it locally at St Albans Theatre because it was directed by a friend of mine. And it was a stunningly good production. And it's on, if anybody lives near St Albans and can get a ticket, I really advise them to go this week.
I hesitate before asking, but what is Cock about? Make up your own gags at home.
Okay. No, the reason it's called Cock, Mike Bartlett, who wrote it, who also wrote The 47th, which was about coming 47th. Anyway, he lives in Spain now, and he's seen Cock. Okay, so set in this version, it was set in a circle, and it's about an existing relationship between two men. It's been a 7-year relationship, and one of the guys meets a woman and decides maybe he'd like to have a relationship with a woman. And
that's called being greedy. That's just greedy, though.
Well, maybe so. Yeah. It's if I came away from it, it ended, and I involved in deep conversation with several people afterwards, talking about how we felt about the characters and so on and so forth. So it's a brilliantly written piece because I wanted to know more. I wanted to say more. I also wanted to, at various times, slap various characters or give them a hug. And it was beautifully performed. And it was done. The director did it with absolutely no physical contact in the play at all. There were no props, no costumes, no physical contact. It was just superb.
That's called cheap. I like a big show. I'm going to go out. I like a big show.
I will not have people make negative comments about my framework when it's good.
You won't have negative comments about Cock, is what you're saying. God, I've wasted a lifetime to say that. Okay. Come on. I've wasted a lifetime to be able to say that.
No,
hey, you know when I do GB News, if I do GB News in an hour and a half's time, do you think I can fit in the word cock then?
I'm sure you'll find a way.
I've got to find a way. I've got to find a way to insult everybody on the show. What I've got to talk about, actually, you can help me out in the last few minutes of the show. What I've got to talk about is that I don't pick the subject. And the subject is unisex toilets, which to me is a red rag to a bull, because I think they are disgusting, disgraceful, and awful. And that's putting it mildly. So I can still fit the word cock in somewhere. Come on, Leslie, you've got a brain like a planet. Help me out here.
Well, it's quite interesting. I don't think I have a problem with them if the walls go up to the ceiling and floor.
No.
It's when there's little cubicles with gaps, I don't like them.
Yes,
if you go to France and you stop, hang on.
They're French.
I remember one weekend, we went to France for the day, and we stopped in a little restaurant in a little Gale, And I went to the loo, and the loo was just a curtain across a cubicle with footprints in the door and men and women going in. And I thought, I really can't cope with this.
No, I can't go. I'm very private. I won't be able to go. I'd have to get in the car, drive to the woods and do a wee or something. I couldn't go. Or pop round to Francine's. I've done that in the past.
Yeah, but look.
She said, I didn't know you were coming round to eat. I said, I'm not. I just need the toilet. Bye. Go in, use the toilet, leave. My cousin Francine, in her downstairs toilet. No, this is important news. This is important for mental health and well-being. When you go in, first of all, you could do brain surgery in her downstairs loo. Secondly, the toilet paper is in a V, like it's a hotel. She folds it in a V. It's my cousin. So what I do is I deliberately I scrunch it. I scrunch it up while I write a little note.
I am not that anal. That is very, forgive me, anal.
Well,
Russ.
What? Yes.
Yeah, of course, Franny. Can I just go back to mental health a minute, please?
Yeah, please. That's why we're here. Surprisingly.
Right. The friend that directed the play works in the field of mental health for a local health authority. I had a long chat with him and we were talking about, I think it's called Andy's Men's Talking Group, something like that. There's one being set up in his local authority. I had a chat with him and he has said he's got to get permission from the authority, but he is a mental health first aider as well, and he would love them on the show.
I would love them to. Please, can I leave that in your very capable and manicured hands? You
can, 100%. 100% leave it with me, because he's got a beautiful speaking voice, which helps. And he's been doing this work for some time. He's in health promotion. So I thought, you know what? This is good.
This is great. No, this is perfect. This is perfect. Now, from my cousin Francine, her V-shaped toilet roll perfection, we go to Liz Saul. You're lucky the toilet paper is in the roll in my house. Usually at the edge of the bath. It's usually at the edge of the bath with a toilet roll fairy to sort out. They should have at university, right? So one of the twins went to Oxford, one went to Bath, right? One did English literature, one did mechanical engineering. Did they ever have even half a lecture on when the loo roll is out? Bloody well, replace it, you lazy little git. That would have been the title of my course.
It's a job. It is not a university's job.
I'm blaming them. I want it on the curriculum. Please make sure there is toilet paper at all times. It's not too tricky.
I would actually consider a lot of the present curriculum to be toilet paper, actually. It's not fit for the 21st century.
It's garbage. It's garbage. We could talk about that's something that you and I have touched on. The whole curriculum needs. School curriculums should be completely and utterly changed to give people life skills. It is not about algebra and logarithms and sines and cosines and tangents. It's about life skills. It's pointless.
It's
pointless.
It's even more it's keyboard skills.
Well, yeah, we've got to move. I mean, it's not the 1940s. We're heading into the we're in the mid 21st century kind of thing. It's 2022, heading towards 2023. Yeah, there are very few manufacturing jobs. Yeah, go on.
We have a government made up of men who still think we're in the 1940s, let alone the 1940s. I'm sorry, I don't want to go down that whole political road in 30 seconds, but the government is not fit for purpose when it comes to education. Full stop.
But none of them have been for years and years and years.
No, I agree with you. We did have one. We had one Minister for Education, Estelle Morris, who had a teacher, knew what she was doing, and she said this job is too big for one person. I cannot do it, and resigned. And it broke the hearts of teachers. But what she meant is we need experts Sinless.
We
Only
do.
Mr. Gove wouldn't listen to the experts. If the experts said something and he disagreed, get rid of them.
Goovy.
I can't. I
Hello,
must get off
Goovy.
my high horse.
You must do, because it's the end
Oh,
of the
don't
show.
go there.
Unbelievably, I've had no. It's the end of the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for putting up with me today. God knows what the rest of the day is going to hold. Lovely, Demisa. Hopefully, see you on Friday. We need to. Until then, everybody, stay safe, stay out of trouble. Bye, gang.